What's happening, Glory Red community, and welcome to another episode of Glory Red podcast. Of course, join in the studio with my boy Benito. What's happening, bruh?
What's good, D? What's good, my guy?
Yeah, all is well, man. All is well. We're about to play in the Champions League tomorrow. Return fixture to Copenhagen. How do you feel about the match, man?
To be honest, like I'm still on the edge. You know, still on
Yeah,
the edge. Our win against Fulham was not convincing, even though we won. Like we need to now move past that.
yeah,
Because that was a game that was built on emotion, and there was just a whole lot of stuff that was going on. And luckily for us, we got the win. But now we're moving
yeah.
on to the Champions League. The form of the players, is it still the same? Like, are we still going to struggle like we did against Fulham? Because Copenhagen are very different to Fulham. We are going to them. We're going to be
Yeah,
playing against their crowd. They're going to make life difficult for us. Now,
yeah,
our away form has not particularly been good. So I don't like. I just don't know. I don't know where the boys are
yeah.
at in terms of form. So yeah, man, that's why we're here. We're gonna discuss that. But what about you?
100%.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think with the Fulham match, like you mentioned, it was a very emotional match. And I don't want to say it was a must win, but it sort of was because we're coming off
Oh, yes.
two
Bro, what do you mean?
defeats back to back. So
It
that game it was yeah, man.
was a must.
It
It
was a
was,
must.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was a must. There was just no way around it. We had to win that game. And
yeah,
so with the Copenhagen match, I feel it's more of the same situation that we're in the Premier League. We have to win this match because if we don't win it, then we might as well count ourselves out of the Champions League already. So
yeah,
tomorrow we need to go out there and get the 3 points in order for us to still consider ourselves um, competitors or you know challenges in the group to finish in that top two because it's really looking hectic right now. So I expect the boys to do their business tomorrow. I expect them to get
one
a
time.
win. Yeah, just because of what everything is. You know what I mean? Because especially for the manager, you know,
Yeah.
he's under a lot of pressure. Under a
Mm,
lot of pressure, fam. And so the Fulham game and this one is 100% must win for him in order for
yeah,
things to calm down a bit, moving on into our next fixture afterwards before we go into the international break. So yeah, man.
yeah,
It's funny because every single time United are in situations like this, there's always stories that come out. These weird stories. Whenever we have questions about something would always like hit, you know what I mean, the press or something
yeah,
like that. So the
yeah.
latest one that I saw when I was scrolling through Instagram was what Marcel Sabitzer said about Eric Ten Hag. I don't know if you caught that.
Um, I think I read something about the three senior players that he thinks that Eric Ten Hag is lacking, but I
Okay.
don't know if I don't know what he said about Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
I don't think I
All right.
saw that.
All right. I'll share it with you on Instagram. But basically, he was just saying that Ten Hag is what you call is a very technical manager. He says he loves football so much. You wake up at 3 a.m. and do all these funny things and go through the match and think of
And I
something
believe
new and
it.
da da da. And
I believe
Ben,
it.
look, not that I don't believe it, but I just always find these articles so funny because, like, how the hell do you know that he's getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning? You know?
What?
Like,
All
do you
right, I see
sleep
what
with
you
the
mean.
manager? Do you get what I'm saying?
I
Like,
see what
some
you
of it
mean. Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense, but when they come, like, let me just quote this. Let me just say this direct quote. Yeah, he said he's a man
Mm.
obsessed with details. You can wake up, um, you can wake him up at 3 a.m. and he'll tell you his whole match plan by heart. You know what I mean? Such statements. But anyway, I get what he
Oh,
means. But he
oh,
just further went on to
yeah,
say that
yeah,
he learned a lot from the manager, and he's a manager that you know don't underestimate him. Like he has a game plan. He knows what he's doing. Everything is very meticulous. He keeps on mentioning that he has this game plan that he will go thoroughly through the players. After a match, he'll go to a player and say, "Look, come watch this. This is what you did. In order for you to improve, you need to do X, Y, and Z." So he really takes care of his players, and he's always looking for ways to improve them. We had a similar conversation about this in the group where we're talking about has Ten Hag improved on some of the players. And a lot of people have said, no, he hasn't improved the players. Some people are saying, yes, he has improved the players. And now we have a player himself who has been in the camp of Ten Hag, and he's telling us how it's like and saying this manager is always out there to improve players, you know, from a very technical point of view, not just, hey, these are the drills, whatever, but he can actually see the flaws in each player and he tries his best to work on your flaws so that you can become a better player. So, yeah, man, it's just a very interesting read, from Sabitzer.
Can I
Um,
add on to that? D?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
You know what's funny? Like
Mm,
everything that Sabitzer says, I believe it
mm,
because I mean a lot of the fans here and our listeners will know that me I'm a Ten Hag diehard. Like I love this guy, but
yeah,
I don't love him just blindly. Of course, you know that I'm
yeah,
very critical of. The one
100%.
thing that I appreciate about Eric Ten Hag, which we have been lacking, um, I think the last sort of tactician we've had at United, you could easily say maybe it was Jose Mourinho. But then
Yeah,
Jose Mourinho, I mean, he was a coach and a manager, but then he didn't play. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like there's that
yeah,
little thing. However, you understand what I mean? Somebody who's football oriented because yeah, we had Ole, but Ole wasn't a coach. Ole
yeah,
was a manager, like a man manager. Like he was the one who
mm,
was checking the vibes, and he wasn't putting tactics on the board. Like you need to do
yeah,
this, you need to do that. Like we never had that, and we lacked it. Maybe you could argue and say, Ralph Rangnick tried that. It's just
mm,
that he failed dismally. But that's something that we were lacking. That's something that we wanted because we figured with the players that we have, like there is some sort of quality because at the time obviously we were like saying like okay who can we get that will get the best out of these players, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And we
yeah,
found ourselves um like all excited that Eric Ten Hag was coming because behind in at the back of our heads we knew that he was at Bayern Munich, he coached the B side, and then he worked under Pep Guardiola. And
yeah,
the way he came into the club and tried to change us the way we did play last season and how he tried to instill his values and his tactics, you could see that this guy is a football guy.
yeah,
Like honestly, Eric Ten Hag is a football man, and it really breaks my heart when we get to this point where fans are saying things like he didn't improve any player. Really? Like honestly, are we
yeah,
gonna sit here and say that he didn't improve the nonsense that you remember? He has
mm,
improved players that he didn't bring in. He improved
yeah,
players that have sacked managers, and he got
mm,
the best out of them. Yeah, they're not a lot, but he got the best out of them, and he managed to stabilize the team in his best way possible. So it really makes me laugh sometimes when I hear things like, "Oh, he didn't he didn't improve anybody." Like, are you honestly going to sit there and say that? Like, I can get someone can might say like, but what's going on with Rashford this season? And then you'll be like, but there are just some things that a manager just can't do. Like he can he can only instill as much as he can until he reaches a point where the player has to take over from there and
yeah,
fulfill what the manager wants him to do. Like it can't
100%.
just all be the manager. Like
Yeah,
you understand what I mean? So if you're
yeah,
gonna say that no, Rashford is not improving, this is the manager's fault, I'll be like, whoa, no, 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 no,
yeah,
no. That's unfair to say because you can honestly say that the manager has tried to do his best to get the best out of the players that he picks under
yeah,
the circumstances that he's in,
yeah.
and tries to get the best out of them. And
No, man,
but yeah,
that's
man,
true.
now
Like,
Yeah,
it's almost like if you had to compare it to something else, like you're teaching someone how to paint, you know?
mm,
They'll look at how you brush the stroke, how you dip the brush in the paint. You know, he will come and say, "Look, this is a better technique. Rather dip it like
exactly.
this, rather stroke like
Yeah,
that." But at the end of the day, he's not in charge of your creativity. You have to take those techniques, those skills that he has taught you, and then you have that canvas to now paint it with your creativity and show
yeah,
how good your creativity can be, So these
yeah,
players, to your point, like the manager's gone out there and show them the skills, the techniques, everything that they need to do to become better players. But at the end of
mm,
the day, they need to figure out in situations how can we unlock defenses? How can we be
yeah,
creative amongst us and pull and some things, yes, are gonna be basic textbook stuff, but then other times you really need to open your mind while still
yeah,
using those techniques and skills that were instilled, upon you. But yeah, man.
yeah.
So let's look at the starting lineup. So I think pretty much the starting lineup that we played them in the first game is gonna be similar to the one that we're gonna play with tomorrow.
You
So
think
in the
so?
first match, yeah, let me read out the lineup real quick. So in the first match, we had Onana, Diego Dalot, Varane, Maguire, Reguilon. In the midfield, we had Amrabat, Bruno, Scott McTominay, and then we had the front three of Rashford, Hoyland, and Anthony. So yeah, we still don't have Casemiro, so Casemiro is not going to feature in this match. Probably the
Hmm.
only changes in this team would be Sergio Reguilon. He's gonna be
Yes.
replaced by Aaron
The
Wan-Bissaka, and then
mid.
obviously they'll switch the flanks. But everything else is pretty much the
Uh,
same.
I think
So yeah,
Garnacho and Felicity are gonna get a start.
okay,
Yeah, because in the way I've predicted my team,
yeah,
it's very similar. Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Dalot, Amrabat, Scott McTominay, Pelestri, Fernandez, Garnacho, Hoyland. That's how I see
okay,
him. Like
yeah,
the way Anthony is under scrutiny right now,
yeah,
and like I just don't see. Well, I mean, hey, he's the gaffer. You might play him, but I think anyway, we'll see. That's my feeling. So,
yeah.
and
All right,
Rashford,
so
I'm not sure if he's. I think I just saw that he's back in training, but I'm
yeah,
not
he's
sure.
back in training with Lindelof, sorry. So
Oh,
both
okay.
players have been, yeah, they're involved in the training, and I think they'll travel. The only player that I think that has been mentioned that I won't travel is Kobe Mainu. So yeah, but other than
Kobe
that,
Mainoo's return is driving people crazy.
it's driving people crazy. And now I'm reading reports and stories that Man City are interested in him, and I'm like, are we missing
What?
something here? I swear, fam. So I'm like, wait, if Man City want to poach
Yo,
Kobe Mainu
yo.
and we're putting him on the bench, this is worrisome. And when Pep wants a
Nah,
player,
you.
the whole world
Yeah.
pays attention. You understand what I'm saying? So the sole fact that the rumors out there that Pep wants Kobe Mainu, I'm like, yeah, that means we've been preaching the gospel about this player. Hey, I know we said we've
Nah,
only seen him a
we're gonna
bit
lock him down.
in preseason, but
We're
yeah,
locking
man,
him
I
down.
think he needs to get his time. He needs to get his
Yeah.
time. We don't want him to
But
leave and then he gets poached
and
by
again,
Pep.
you see, and the thing is, with Kobe Mainu right now, we don't want to risk putting him back on
Yeah,
the doctor's chair. So
yeah,
whatever they can do to like I don't mind. Like I know I'm like dying to meet like for him to play. But like
yeah.
I would really rather we get it 100%. Like I really
I
am
hear
not
you.
kidding about it. Because young
Yeah,
players are prone to start having an injury prone career because they
yeah.
suffer serious injuries when they're young. You look at
True.
Ansu Fati, when he got his
Yeah.
injury, he was never the same. Pedri is another
Mm,
golden boy. When he started off, he played like 70 games in a year. Like it
yeah.
wore him out. Like they even forced to give him um a break. And then he picked up injuries. Now he's in the injury place
Yeah.
often. You understand?
Yeah.
And Kobe Manu, we
Yeah.
don't want to do that. Like we
True.
so many other players that have that same thing, but we don't want to do the same to our players. So
Yeah.
rather we take our time with Kobe, and then when the time is right, we bring him in. Let us, however, not sell that boy. I will
Exactly.
stop supporting United if we sell Kobe Manu. I swear to God, I'm telling you now, I'm
Yeah.
not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be blasphemy on the at the highest level.
yeah. Nah, I hear you. So we're most likely gonna see him after the international break because this is the second last game before we go into the
Yeah,
international break. So it's gonna be this one, and then this coming weekend we are playing Luton, and it's a home match.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so we most likely will see him get minutes in the Luton match, or we'll definitely see him after the international break. So yeah, so this anyway, this is my predicted starting 11. I
Right.
think the back five similar to what you mentioned. Maybe I'm missing out a name, but Anjo Nana, Wan Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Varane, and Delo. In the
Yep.
midfield, Amrabat. I'm gonna go with Scott McTominay and Mason Mount, and then I believe he's gonna start Rashford and Garnacho. I don't know on who's gonna play which flank, and he's gonna
Yep.
have Rasmus Højlund up front. Pelestri, I do believe will get game time, but off the bench.
Okay.
And yeah, so the reason why I've put Pelestri on the bench, same reason as before. I don't think Ten Hag rates
Fast.
Pelestri. Yeah,
Mm.
so even if he does good deeds when he does play, I don't know what Pelestri has to do to get into that starting 11 comfortably. But because this is a game that he desperately needs to win, I don't think he will risk Pelestri. We may even
Which
see
is
Anthony
which is
start
funny.
again. I
It,
know it's
it's
funny, but
funny. He offers the like he has the highest chance of creating opportunities for scoring. Like I
yeah,
don't get the logic. Like that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
sometimes I defend him. Like it almost sounds like I'm crazy. Like I'm defend, but I'm like,
yeah,
but don't you guys see that this guy offers more? Like, am I crazy? Am I the only one that sees this? And then, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You vouch for him, and then when the lineup comes out, it's where is he? You know what I mean? So I've
and
literally
then
just stopped holding my breath about it.
they'll decide to put him in a game that's so difficult, not
Exactly.
to let him shine. Then he will look
Yeah.
like he was just a waste man in the game. Like, come on.
Mm.
Ah,
Yeah, but that's my predicted 11. We'll get to predict the scores at the end. So, yeah,
all right.
obviously that time when we played Copenhagen, it was the second match, well, first home
Mm-hmm,
match since the
mm-hmm.
passing of Sir Bobby Charlton. Obviously, very emotional match. We needed to win it. We barely won it. Like we won it by a goal, and then of course we had the Andre Onana penalty save, you know. That
Yeah.
was the red redemption day for Andre Onana and Harry Maguire. you know. But we
Yeah.
can't. In our previous episodes, we have stated we can't keep on relying on moments like this, last minute
We
stuff.
can't.
Even in this previous game, it was a last minute winner. That saw us the 3 points. We need to go into this match and we need to win it. We're gonna be playing Copenhagen on their home turf. You know, they were strong when they came to Old Trafford. They're definitely gonna be stronger on their home ground. So we can't
100.
afford to switch off during this match. This match, we have to be alert and alive throughout the whole game. We need to get in early goals as quickly as possible because once Copenhagen go ahead, it's gonna be a difficult task coming back because not only will we need to equalize, but we'll need to go ahead and score another goal to beat them. So this
Yes.
match is, oh man, there's a lot riding on this match. But how would you feel if we did lose or draw this match? Like, if it just seemed like we're gonna get knocked out of the Champions League competition, how would that sit with you?
Yeah. When you ask me that question, it's deeper than that because the way I see things, like I think I've mentioned to you several times, and I think we mentioned it in on our episode here that, like, I want the restart. So that question actually dives into that whole thing. But then for right here, right now, with the situations that are happening with United, if we draw, it's better than losing. I will always take a draw over
Yeah,
a loss because
yeah,
I still don't think Galatasaray is going to beat Bayern Munich. I could be wrong. If they do, then they pose a challenge for us. At this very
yeah,
moment, I am, and I hate to say this, I'm depending on Bayern Munich to seal the deal for us. Because
yeah,
if Bayern Munich beats Galatasaray and we win, we go second.
Yeah, we go
and then
second.
all we need to do against Galatasaray is draw. You understand?
We'll
Now
need
I know that
we'll need
sounds when
we'll
we
need
might
to beat
we need
them.
to
These
draw.
next two games, if we want to qualify, we need to win these next two games.
No, but like
If we draw
if we're
one,
being safe, yeah,
yeah, if we draw one, I don't think it's gonna be to our advantage. Like we need to beat Copenhagen, we need to beat Galatasaray. If we don't win these next two games, we're not qualifying, and then we can get a
yeah,
draw at Bayern. Because if we're going to, let's say we beat Galatasaray, right? We're gonna be 2 points
yeah,
ahead of them, and if they lose, obviously they stay at 4 points. So we're gonna be at six, they're gonna be at four. If we get a draw, and remember our goal difference is bad. So if we get a draw, right, or we lose against Bayern, the last match, right, and they go ahead and win, then they will most likely qualify on goal difference. So we'll end off with the
mm,
same amount of points, but they will qualify on goal difference. So because our goal difference is so shit, we have no choice but to win both games.
mm.
We have to before going into that Bayern match. Otherwise, it's honestly late for us. Yeah, because we're not even sure because that means we're banking on not only Bayern to beat Galatasaray, but we're also banking on Copenhagen to beat Galatasaray. So we need it's a
I mean,
must.
if we beat Copenhagen tomorrow and Galatasaray lose, and then we beat Galatasaray, then we don't really care about what happens to the other guys. Like honest, if we just win those two
Yeah,
games,
if we win the
think
two
about it.
games, we're safe.
Yeah, why not? So
Provided
we
Galatasaray loses
to
to
Bayern
Bayern.
Munich.
Yes, they have to
Yeah,
lose. They have to. If
yeah,
they draw, it's a problem. So we need Kane to be on his A game, you know, on his AA
yep,
top game. But yeah, man.
yep.
But yeah, it will
But
be a
he's
disaster.
in scintillating form, so
He is. He is though.
he will
He
do
is.
the job.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man. So yeah, I think if we don't win, um, or if we draw, I think the rest of the
Yeah,
games it's safe to say that you should just to your um, predicted starting 11s give more chances to players like Pelestri, since we know we're not going to advance any further in the group.
yeah,
And I know, yeah, you don't want to take it lightly just because you won't qualify, but I think those will be good opportunities to be giving the boys, some much needed game time and experience in the European competitions because the other players
yeah.
have had a lot of that experience and they also failed to get us through. So they might as well just sit out the rest of the tournament and just let the other
True.
players have their chances to start. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah.
But what do you think your thoughts are on the score? How do you think this game will play out?
Uh, I predicted a 2-1 win to us, which is shocking. But it's funny. Sometimes when I read about our players, it makes me laugh
Yeah,
because there was this story about Scott McTominay, um, like the Fulham game. Apparently, there was a banner
yeah.
that was showing that I don't know, like
Play like you
motivating the
play
players or
like you
something.
mean it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
this guy is like I mean, to to his innocence, he's telling us that I went to the players and I told them that guys, we earn a lot of money, and these fans
yeah,
that
yeah.
travel with us
They
and
pay a lot to see the matches. Da
they
da da
pay a lot
da.
to see us, so we
Yeah,
need to give our all. So in my head, I'm like, wait, it took a banner,
yeah,
like it took that moment for you guys to like for it to hit you in
yeah,
your face
yeah,
that like every game is important. Like people
yeah,
are watching you, like with their hearts,
yeah,
you know, betting on you, like putting everything on you,
yeah,
traveling long distances to support you.
yeah.
And it's only like, okay, wait, when did you realize that they are away fans, by the way? Like,
Mm,
really?
yeah.
And that just blew my mind. And it was like, it's like
That was your turning point of realization.
that was your
Like
turning
this
point,
whole time, you've been so
And
oblivious to this.
yeah,
Yeah.
Now, obviously, yeah, they ended up getting the win. You know, the way they played, obviously there was no structure. It
Yeah.
was just like we mentioned that it was no game plan. It was just let's go out there and get the job done. Let's
Yeah.
get the 3 points and move on. So I think, and they also went out, for dinner after the win. All these little things, these gestures, these team spirit, these camaraderie, this coming together. I think they're going to carry that on to this game. And they actually need it, especially when you're going away. You need that solid togetherness. You need to create that mentality of we're in our own bubble and nobody else is going to penetrate this thing and nobody's going to tell us what's up. Like we're just going to go there. We're going to block out the noise because I am expecting it to be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they block it out and they just keep that team unity. So just based on those things, not particularly on football, um, in their football, because like I'm still not happy with some of the things that they do when they're playing. I need to point that out. And I'm not saying that I want a style of play. No, I understand where we are at. But there's some things like players, not tracking back, not being able to control a ball, not pressing. Those little things. Those things annoy me, and and those are the things that sometimes we think if we can get those solid things together, those basic things. We always talk about the basic things. If we can get those small things done, we'll see better football because you'll see the fluidity is going now. You're not passing balls all over the place. So, in terms of the good feel factor in that momentum that they took from that Fulham game, that's why I predicted the 2-1. Um, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm picking the 2-1 because I believe that Manchester United are going to have a masterclass. Nah,
Yeah.
I actually kind of see individual brilliance, like a Hoyland or Bruno doing something, or
Yeah.
even Rashford, if he starts, or Anthony, any one of those guys, Scott McTominay, you know, any one of those guys can do something. So it might be one of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I go with the 2-1.
All right.
What about you?
Uh, yeah, I'm going with the 1-0. United to win. Yeah, I think I've been blindly optimistic in these previous games. Just thinking that United can score more than a goal when I know that we're lacking in the goal scoring department. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
go for a 1-0 victory.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna defend very tight during the match
Mm,
tomorrow. Um, and
mm,
then we're just gonna we're gonna take our chances on the break. And I only see us putting away a goal since we're gonna be playing
mm,
away. And this Copenhagen side it's definitely gonna be a difficult match. They're playing very well in their domestic league, so I'm not gonna discount that. And like I said, we're just failing to score goals. We're failing to get any form of like play, any balls into the box, and because Pellestri's not gonna be starting, we're not gonna get all of those creativity, you know what I mean, and that pushing and that drive to like really put something for these forward players to to give them service. You know what I mean? They're not gonna
yeah,
have service. So with that being said, I think it's probably going to be a 1-0 win. But yeah, I'm also going for the win. I'm definitely also going for the
yeah.
win. Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
I
anything
mean, I
else?
don't necessarily. I'm not saying that this is going to be the turnaround. Like
Yeah,
I am going to reserve that because I've been a victim.
yeah,
I've been a victim of supporting these guys with all my heart, and then they just, like just put a nail on it. So I'm like, nah.
exactly.
But I do believe that it's not going to be as bad as it has been since the start.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
can say. I do believe there's going to be an improvement. There is going to be an
yeah,
improvement. I know those very shallow United fans are not going to see it. They're going to be like, but there's no style, there's no this.
yeah,
Just because you're not paying attention, you're not paying
yeah,
attention to the tactic or what
yeah,
the manager's trying to do. But if you watch our team, if you really love your team and you understand it, trust me, the improvements, the little changes and whatnot, you will see them. And I
True.
believe we are going to, and obviously with players coming back, you
Yeah.
know, man, I really cannot express how happy I am that Aaron Wan Bissaka is back.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if he is, if just by being there has given the players a little bit of confidence. Like there is a little bit of that. Like there's this trust, but we need more. We need more. We need more.
Yeah.
And I think like we are getting there slowly. But yeah, yeah. So I feel I don't want to say that this nah, but I feel something positive. I feel positive energy brewing. Let me say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me say that. Yeah, brewing. It's not just all there. No, it's
Yeah.
just they're just bubbling. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, I get you. It's the start of the turnaround. A victory from this match would definitely be, in that process, in that progress of us having that turnaround period that we're longing for. But yeah, that's been the match preview. Um, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close this one off?
Nah, man. Like I just don't know what we're going to do about our goal scoring because that seems to be our biggest issue.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching Arsenal and I mean sorry, Tottenham and Chelsea last night.
Yeah.
And Chelsea are literally just like us in terms of scoring. They're not scoring. It took them to beat Tottenham after they've had two red cards. That's
Yeah.
when they started scoring their goals. And then red cards, and I think their center back, Van der Ven, was injured, pulled a hammy. Madison pulled out. The team was depleted, and only then did Chelsea score. And also, Tottenham was playing a very dangerous high line. Like they didn't care. It
Yeah.
was one of those ballsy Bielsa kind of moves where it's like, listen, we are down, yes, but we need to score.
Yeah.
So try beat us, and if it works, good for you. If it doesn't and it backfires, we're gonna punish you. And
Yeah.
Tottenham were getting there, they just didn't hit the mark. But I just as comparing them to Chelsea, I started like sort of getting sad. I'm like, our players that bad? Like,
Mm.
do our players need two red cards from the opposition to score goals? Like maybe for
Yeah.
Rashford to score a hat trick, or like, do we need those kind of circumstances for us to score? Like,
Yeah.
why are we in this position? Why? Why are these front guys? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like our defense right now, our defense is hanging on. Like we are hanging on.
Yeah.
Like it is the one area in our squad that was the most important last season with the clean sheet and most consistent. And it just happens to be the one that has been dismantled. And it is, yes, leaking goals, but we are trying to maintain, like it's trying to hang on. How is it that the forwards are not seeing that? Listen, we need to score goals because, like, until Martinez is back, Roberto Carlos is back,
Mm.
Varane, like until Casemiro,
Yeah.
like until we are very comfortable and like saying like let's take, like, why can't you hold it down? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Tottenham, bruh. Like those guys were playing football. They are no joke. Like Big Ange, big ups to him, man. I like the energy that he's
Yeah.
giving. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to compare him with Ten Hag or anything like that. No, I'm just saying like he's got them playing some very good, solid team football. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and man, like no man, our front guys need to score. That's
Yeah.
my thing. And I know I'm ranting or I'm pleading to, but like we can only kickstart our season if we score goals. If we
Yeah.
don't, it's going to be snail's pace.
Yeah.
till the end of. Like
Yeah.
we're just gonna be bouncing between this. Because look, right now, 6 wins, 5 draws.
Yeah.
6 wins, 5 losses, no draws. So we're
Yeah.
just gonna be bouncing left, right, left,
Exactly.
right, no middle, left,
Yeah.
right, left,
It's
right,
either we
all the way
win
up
or we
to the.
lose.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
And then you look at Newcastle, man. Newcastle's terrify me. Just
Yeah.
the thought of, bruh, I, I don't know. Is
Yeah.
that billion money? Like Eddie Howe an elite manager? Like
Mm.
what's going on? Like can somebody explain to me? Those guys are scoring for fun.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, yes, they lost this weekend, but they too are scoring. Everybody else is scoring for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just in J.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
and we can't just we
Ah,
can't.
it's a struggle. It's a
How?
mission.
And we
Just
are Manchester United.
yeah.
I hate saying that because I
Yeah.
always say like I need to judge our team based on how they are. We are Manchester United, but still, man,
Yeah.
it's annoying, bro. It's
I
annoying.
hear you. I
But
hear you.
yeah, that's my last little thing that I have to say because
I
man, I'm pleading to these
yeah.
guys. I'm really pleading. We need goals.
Yeah, we do. All right, my guy. Thanks for that. And thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Glorious Podcast. Don't forget you can catch us on all your favorite streaming podcast platforms or Glory Reds FC. And with that being said, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.